Hey, in this video I'm going to go through all of the steps involved in setting up and using the box joint jig. That includes setting it to the right distance from the blade and attaching the guide bar. Now there's a couple of different ways to set up the jig. I'm going to go through the way that I think is the best, and that's to use a 1/4 inch dado blade to make the first cut and to set the guide bar in place. So I put a 1/4 inch dado blade in the saw, and I've set the jig so that this side fence here is in line with the edge of this blade. So that makes my first cut a 1/4 inch slot that's right beside the side fence here. Now that sets it up good for 1/4 inch cuts, 3/8 inch cuts, 1/8 inch cuts, all the way up. So the first step is to set the fence so that I can make that first cut. When you get to there, you want to stop the blade. Don't try to pull the thing back. It might catch and bad things will happen. Now that I know the jig is in exactly the right spot, I can get the guide bar in place to attach it to the jig. Now, the guide bar I'm using for this jig is just a piece of maple that I cut to the exact width of my slot here, and it's a little bit thinner than the slot is deep, so I've got some wooden shims here to shim it up. Now with the guide bar in place in the slot, I can position the jig over it, and what I'm going to do to hold it in place is just put a couple of dabs of glue, just small little dabs, doesn't take a lot, and then carefully put the jig in place so that the guide bar is flush with the back of the jig. I'm going to leave this to set for about 20 minutes or so. Okay, so the glue has had about a half an hour to dry. I'm just going to carefully lift the jig up and drill out and drive some screws. And then there's another 1.5 inch screw that goes in the middle. This one goes up through the center support on the jig, so it really holds the bar in tight. Alright, well since I've got the 1/4 inch dado blade in here already, I'll go ahead and cut a 1/4 inch box joint in these pieces. Put 2 in up against the fence, and I've got a 1/4 inch driver bit here to space the next 2. Now I'm going to take a clamp and clamp these in place. The clamp needs to be facing this way, otherwise it gets in the way of the lever on the back. Take out the spacer, that's important. And now it's ready for the first cut. Okay, it's all cut. Now I can take it out of the jig. I'll take the jig, put it over there, and see how it fits. Look at that. Pretty good. That's a good tight fit. Put them end to end like this, and see how tight they are. Okay, that was the 1/4 inch box joint. Now I'm going to do a 1/8 inch box joint. And to do that, I have taken out the dado blade set and I've put in two 8 1/4 inch blades. These are thin curved blades that are stacked. I've got two in here side by side. You can also use a standard thickness saw blade, which is 1/8 of an inch. Depends upon how much run out you have on your saw. For me, I've got a little bit of run out, and this blade will give me a joint that's just a little bit too loose. So I have better results with this blade combination here. So I'm just going to do 2 pieces for this one. I'm going to put it in. I've got the carriage put back to the start position. I'll put the first piece of stock in, tight against the fence. The next one, I'll just use the wrench for my saw to space it. This board's got a bit of a cup in them. And then I'll clamp it in place. Okay, all done. Let's see how it fits. Get out of there. Get that. Move the jig out of the way. And it's going together really well. And a really nice, well-fitting box joints, and that's what these blades give me. It's exactly right for this size joint. Okay, well that's it. That's all there is to setting up the box joint jig and cutting box joints with it. Pretty easy, very accurate. Takes no time at all to cut a very precise box joint. The other thing to remember about this is that it can cut box joints that are twice as wide also. The capacity in one pass for this is about 7 1/4 inches. You can double that by turning the piece around, a wider piece. So I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.